Our reading today is in 2 Peter chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 5 to 8. And beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. Whenever we were young lads at school, we were very keen on football. We had our favourite teams and we knew the players all by name. At the sweet shop, we used to be able to buy a packet with a stick of chewing gum and 4 or 5 little cards with photographs of the players. And on these cards they also had various details about them, their position in the team, how many goals they had scored, what other teams had played for. The objective was to get all of the cards, or at least to get every player from our team, the team that we supported. It was difficult, so we had to work hard at swapping cards with each other just to get the complete set of cards. In these verses, Peter puts before his readers a similar but more important and more difficult objective. A full set of virtues that he wants them to attain. The fact that he urges them to give all diligence underlines that these do not come easy. But it also conveys the sense of urgency and eagerness that we displayed as young boys with our football cards. These are 8 values and virtues that we should seek diligently as believers. It's true that God has given unto us exceeding great and precious promises. We read that in verse 4 in the previous video. But that does not mean that progress in Christian things simply falls into your lap. We have got to work hard at it as well with God's help. That's why Peter began our reading today with the words, and beside this, in verse 5. Beside has the sense of alongside or simultaneously. We need to cooperate with God to grow in grace. Christian experience begins with faith. That is the bedrock of our relationship with God. In Hebrews chapter 11 verse 6 we read that without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is. And although we never move away from that position, Peter encourages us to build on it, to add to your faith. The next thing he mentions is virtue or moral excellence. And the idea is simply a praiseworthy way of living. The life of believers should excel the life of unbelievers if the life of God is in us at all. This opens up a practical knowledge of God and temperance or self-control. A believer's life should be controlled by the Spirit of God, not our own spirit. This develops patience, a perseverance in adversity, and then godliness, that is, a holy way of living. This produces a love for our fellow Christians, and finally, the very love that flows out of the heart of God to all his creatures. As John wrote in 1 John chapter 4 verse 19, we love because he first loved us. In verse 8, Peter points out the aim of these 8 graces, that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. A fruitful Christian life is the result of developing the real Christian character that he has described, a knowledge of Christ that is demonstrated by living Christ out in our lives. Fruitfulness does not come about by simply putting on the external trappings of Christian profession, but by a faithfulness to the very character of Christ. So today perhaps we could add to our faith these wonderful virtues, that we too might be faithful to our God.